Welcome to the audiovisual program, Classified Collective Bargaining Agreement 2023 through 2026, between the Greater Albany Public School District 8J and Greater Albany Association of Classified Employees. This is Article 6, Working Conditions, 6.1. Work Week. The work week for employees in the bargaining unit shall normally consist of 5 consecutive days, with Saturday and Sunday as the usual days off. The regular work week for any current employee may be scheduled on Saturdays and Sundays as deemed necessary by the district and agreed upon by the employee. If the employee doesn't agree, the district will notify the association and will bargain upon demand. 4-day work week. Employees or supervisors may propose a 4-day work week of 10-hour days or 4-10. Proposals will be made with reasonable advance notice in order to arrange the schedules. Employees will make their requests to their immediate supervisors. 4-10 schedules must be mutually agreed upon by the employee and the immediate supervisor. When the majority of a work group is in favor of working a 4-10 schedule, but it is not unanimous, the association will mediate and provide a consensus to the supervisor within 5 work days. If other employees are impacted by this schedule, they will be given the opportunity to provide input prior to the decision being made. Any week that contains a paid holiday will not be worked on a 4-10 schedule. Split shift. If necessary, the district may initiate a split shift. A split shift is defined as a shift with more than an hour of consecutive downtime between 2 segments of work time. District initiated means that the job was posted as a split shift, or the district rescheduled a current employee's shift. If an employee who is currently not working a split shift is assigned to one, the district will give the employee the first right to refuse the assignment, and the district shall make every effort to reassign or cause a job trade to happen for that employee. An employee assigned to a split shift shall receive differential pay for their entire shift. See Article 25.4e. Employees exempt from this section are school bus drivers, bus attendants, and employees who apply for and are hired for 2 or more part-time positions. 6.2. Paid holidays. As designated elsewhere in this agreement, paid holidays shall be considered as days worked and be recognized and compensated for as a part of the 5 days of the defined work week. 6.3. Overtime. Overtime is voluntary, except in situations when specific skills are needed or when an emergency exists. 6.4. Overtime compensation. Employees in the bargaining unit shall receive overtime compensation of 1 1/2 times that employee's regular rate of pay for time worked in excess of 40 hours in 1 week, except that compensation for overtime worked may be paid in the form of compensatory time off when determined advisable by the district. This compensatory time shall also be computed at 1 1/2 time. Compensatory time will be recorded and used according to the accepted district-level processes. Compensatory time off will be taken at times mutually agreed to by the employee and the supervisor, except in cases of emergency. All overtime worked, for which the district is liable for compensation, will be with prior approval of the supervisor. Claims for payment for time worked without prior approval will not be deemed valid. Except by mutual agreement between the employee and their supervisor, the district will not modify an employee's regular work schedule of an 8-hour day, 5-day week in order to avoid overtime. Employees working a 4-10 work week as per Section 6.1 of this agreement shall receive overtime as described above for time worked in excess of 40 hours in 1 4-day week. 6.5. Flex trade time. Employees who work less than 40 hours per week can, through mutual agreement with their supervisor, take time off at a future time in lieu of compensation for the additional hours worked. Additional time worked shall be recorded in the office at the employee's work site, the work site where the additional time was worked. The hours recorded shall be taken as time off at a mutually agreeable date and time confined within the same fiscal year. At no time shall an employee carry more than 12 hours of flex trade time. Flex/trade hours are portable, meaning if an employee changes work sites mid-school year, any flex/trade hours recorded shall transfer to their new work site. Any hours remaining at the end of the school year shall be reported on an exception timesheet to be paid off at the employee's hourly rate. Definitions of flex/trade time and banked time will be put into writing and provided to each worksite supervisor and employee, as well as being posted in buildings. 6.6. Lunch periods. Each employee working 6 hours or more will receive an unpaid duty-free lunch of at least 1/2 hour. Employees working less than 6 hours may be assigned a lunch break of at least 1/2 hour. Such time will be scheduled by the employee's immediate supervisor near to the halfway point of the tour of duty, unless found to be otherwise desirable by the supervisor and the employee. The employee may request consideration from their supervisor as to whether or not to have a lunch break scheduled. 6.7. Breaks. Each employee shall receive a 15-minute paid break during each more than 3-hour period of consecutive service, except in an emergency situation, but 6-hour employees will get at least one break in addition to a lunch. Effective the 2019-20 school year, employees who are 7.5 hours or greater shall receive 2 15-minute breaks. This break time cannot be accumulated for compensatory time or to shorten the workday. Supervisors shall schedule these breaks and lunch times and provide the employee with their written schedule not more than 1 month after the start of the school year or within 1 month of a new hire. The schedule may be flexible. However, the district's expectation is that each employee shall take their break time. 6.8. Technology. Employees who are required by their supervisor to use technology, for example, a computer to check email or view required training videos, shall be informed of which technology is available to them, where it can be accessed, when it is available, and shall receive sufficient and timely training in how to utilize the technology. 6.9. Callback pay. For reasons other than employees' own negligence, classified employees required by the district to return to work after completing a regular shift shall receive at least 2 hours of pay at the employee's regular rate, unless the overtime provision in the working conditions article of this agreement applies. 6.10. Inclement weather A. Timing of weather decisions. 1. The district will make weather decisions as early as possible consistent with developing weather information. 2. When a delay or cancellation is announced 30 or more minutes before the scheduled start of an employee's shift, the non-emergency employee will not report to work without prior approval from a supervisor. 2.1. The 30 minutes is measured from the transmission of the district-wide digital notice, for example, a flash alert. 2.2. This 30-minute period will allow anyone living in the district boundaries to leave their home and arrive at work on time or with minor delay. 2.3. Employees living outside the district's boundaries will be allowed a reasonable delay in their arrival, but they will not be paid for time missed or for their earlier departure from home. 2.4. For safety reasons, employees should remain home until 30 minutes prior to their report time to allow for the cancellation decision. B. It is the responsibility of the employee to know when schools are closed or on a delayed start due to inclement weather. C. When a weather decision is not published in accordance with 6.10a, the employees will be paid for 2 hours or actual time worked, whichever is greater. This payment is based on their assigned shift and the employee's ability to perform their assigned work, not their presence in the building. Employees who were not expected to work on inclement weather day, for example, due to long-term illness or pre-planned leave, will not be paid for the late weather decision. D. Except for the emergency crew, employees are not to report for work on days when school is closed due to inclement weather. 1. The district shall identify the emergency crew in advance based on safety and maintenance needs of the district. 2. The emergency crew shall report to work on inclement weather closure days. They shall be paid double pay for work on the school closure days. 3. If the days missed because of weather closure are made up, the emergency crew will not receive any additional pay. E. Delays. 1. Delayed operation. When a delay is announced and schools operate on the delayed schedule, employees will be paid for their normal day. 2. Delay into cancellation. When a delay is announced, followed by a cancellation, the timing of both decisions will be examined when determining if employees are entitled to pay, under paragraph 6.10c. Either the original or delayed report time, or both, may qualify an employee for the 2 hours pay or actual time worked. Employees will not be paid for 2 hours twice in one day. F. Salaries will not be docked for time lost due to such closure. However, such lost time may be made up at the option of the district without additional pay. The district will consult with the association before rescheduling closure days. G. 12-month employees do not typically have the opportunity to make up the lost time due to closures. In the event the district requires make-up days from all employees, 12-month employees, with the exception of the emergency crew members who worked the closure days, can either take paid leave, vacation, personal or emergency, unpaid leave, or choose to make up the time by June 1st. 1. If the employee elects to make up the time, then the employee must come to an agreement with their supervisor regarding the modified work schedule. 2. If the modified schedule between an employee and their supervisor puts an employee's work week over 40 hours, or they choose to work on a paid holiday when making up time caused by inclement weather closures, the extra time will not be paid at an overtime rate. 3. If the time is not made up by June 1st of the inclement closure days, then the district will deduct the time as unpaid leave or paid leave as the employee chooses. Applicable paid leave must be used before unpaid leave may apply. If the employee fails to indicate a specific form of preferred leave by June 1st, available leave will be applied in the following order: personal, vacation, comp time. 4. When safety permits, with advance approval of their supervisor and mutual consent of the employee, 12-month employees may report to work on inclement weather days. For example, early reporting employees in cases where it is safe to remain until weather clears, or cases where weather clears later in the day. Supervisors will approve requests only in cases where there is specific, meaningful work the employee can complete with reduced staffing. If an employee elects to work on a day, and the district elects not to make up that day, there is no additional compensation for electing to work on the inclement weather day under this provision. 5. The district will take reasonable steps to ensure that all employees have appropriate work available when make-up work is required. H. During non-instructional scheduled work days, when there is inclement weather, employees shall report to work as close to their normal time as is consistent with safety. However, any employee who is more than 2 hours late will be docked personal leave time. If, in the best judgment of the employee, it is unsafe to travel to work, the employee may use a personal leave day. I. On days when the opening of the school day is delayed due to inclement weather, employees, except bus drivers, shall report to work before students arrive, and as close to their normal time as is consistent with safety. Staff members shall not have their pay docked if they report to work as close to normal time as is consistent with safety. J. When school is released early because of inclement weather, all employees, except bus drivers, will continue to work as close to their normal time schedule as is consistent with safety. Bus drivers shall report to work early to match the dismissal of school. Staff members shall not have their pay docked because of the early release. K. Bus drivers. When inclement weather is likely, the transportation supervisor may require bus drivers to report to work 10 minutes early the following day. If they elect to do so, 1. The decision will be announced no later than 3:30 p.m. the night prior. 2. The earlier report times will be used to determine eligibility for payment under 6.10c. 6.11. Voluntary reduction of hours. When the district receives a request from a bargaining unit member to reduce their work hours below the number of work hours required for insurance benefits, the district shall notify the association. 6.12. Dual assignments. Work schedule problems can arise for staff members with dual positions in the district. For example, a bus driver and educational assistant. Schedule changes in the district can result in situations where the staff member is needed in 2 places at the same time. When these work schedule problems are of a short duration because of things like inclement weather or staff development demands, the staff member will work at the position that they have been assigned to as their priority position at the time the person is hired into the dual assignment. The district may make a different assignment when special circumstances like a shortage of substitutes exist. Extra responsibilities, like field trips, shall not be assigned to staff members when they conflict with other regularly assigned responsibilities, except in unusual situations as determined by the district. When an employee is assigned to multiple assignments, they shall receive in writing the priority order of the assignments. The employee's primary supervisor is the supervisor of the highest priority work assignment. 6.13. Assignment notification. The district will notify all employees who do not work 12 months of their worksite assignment for the following school year no later than July 1st. In the event of a change after July 1st, the district will notify the employee as soon as possible. 6.14. Out-of-district assignments. From time to time, the district may need to send a student to another district or school outside of the GAPS district. The district may also need, for whatever reason, to send an assistant with the student. When this is the case, the following shall apply. A. The assistant will remain a GAPS employee. B. The assistant will be covered continuously by the GAACE negotiated contract. C. Although the assistant may need to follow the calendar of the other district or school, it will be guaranteed that the assistant's calendar will be no fewer working days than those they would receive with GAPS. If there is a schedule that causes the assistant not to have work in the other district, then the assistant may either take an unpaid day or be assigned work in the GAPS district. The assistant will not be assigned more days than in the GAPS calendar. D. Mileage reimbursement at the IRS rate will be paid to drive to and from the new work site. This reimbursement shall be for actual miles driven. E. The assistant will receive their hourly rate for the actual drive time. F. Evaluations will be by a GAPS supervisor. If this supervisor uses input from the on-site supervisor, they will follow the proper procedure outlined in the contract, Article 15 evaluations. 6.15. Workload. If an employee believes that they are assigned an unreasonable workload, or if an employee needs direction or assistance in prioritizing work tasks, or workload issues are causing the consistent submission of exception timesheets and/or the loss of lunch and/or breaks, the employee may request and have a meeting with their immediate supervisor, including their administrator, to discuss the problem. The employee will provide a written statement of the problem. The supervisor shall provide a written response no later than 10 working days. Thereafter, the employee may request a meeting with the Director of Human Resources if the employee believes that the problem has not been resolved. 6.16. Custodial expectations. Custodians will be provided a written record of their routes, including modifications that may be made to regular routines for any evening in which an event is scheduled at a school that requires setup, takedown, extra cleaning, or other additional duties, due to the extra work created by the activity, and a list of duties to be added when there is extra time due to the completion of their regular route assignments. It is recognized that the lead and head custodians may direct which of these modifications should be made and when. Information regarding prioritization of cleaning tasks will be communicated with other staff in building. 6.17. Preparation time. Any employees who are assigned to make modifications or adaptations of materials for students shall be provided time to do so. No employee shall be expected to perform work-related tasks on their unpaid time. If time is not provided for assigned tasks, the classified employee may appeal to the principal using the process in 6.15 of this article. No classified employee will be required to design instruction or assessment. Some examples as to how this time is provided may be through in-service days, when student absences create available time, or during the workday. Teachers will meet with assistants in the fall to review IEPs relevant to the assistant's assignments. Further reviews will occur if IEPs are changed. If a student or an assistant arrives at a school after the school year has started, relevant IEP reviews will occur with the assistant and teacher. Assistants may apply for professional development funds to carry out projects that will assist them in pooling their resources between employees at the same work site and between work sites. 6.18. Transition time. Employees transitioning into a different assignment during their assigned hours that involves a change in location within their work site will be provided adequate additional time for the transition. This time shall be reflected on the employee's written schedule. 6.19. Double duty. When classified employees are absent and not replaced with a substitute, Those classified employees in the same building and/or department who are asked to assume part of the absent employee's duties may seek direction from the supervisor as to what work should be postponed or eliminated, and if and when work can be rescheduled. Depending on the length of absence and the schedule when the work must be done, the rescheduled work hours approved by the supervisor may be assigned to the absent employee upon return to work, or to other classified employees in the building and/or department, or to a substitute or temporary retained for a subsequent days. 6.20. Preferred employee. In any case where an employee qualifies under the Preferred Employee Program through the state of Oregon, and that program offers adaptive equipment to be owned by the employee, the district agrees that any questions about the appropriateness of such ownership shall be resolved in accordance with an opinion issued by the Oregon Governmental Standards Commission or its executive officer. 6.21. Clerical assistance. Elementary schools shall be provided additional clerical hours for purposes of school startup. The amount of time available is to be used between July 1st and September 30th and is based on the district estimated October 1st enrollment counts at each school. Schools with projected enrollments of up to 200 students will be allocated 24 hours. Projected enrollments of 201 to 250 will be allocated 28 hours. 251 to 300 will be allocated 32 hours. 301 to 350 will be allocated 36 hours, and schools in excess of 350 students will be allocated 40 hours. An additional 8 hours shall be allocated to any school that is projected to have a kindergarten and/or ELL population exceeding 25% of their total enrollment. However, no school shall receive more than 40 hours. Hours will be deducted from the school's allocation at the same rate as they are used. In other words, overtime hours shall be deducted from the school's allocation at a rate of 1.5 per hour worked. The principal shall determine how best to utilize the building's allocated hours after consultation with the school's office manager. 6.22. Staff communications. Employees will have a designated location to receive printed communications. This location should provide privacy through individual mailboxes or separate envelopes for each employee.